Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. I'm Blazer of the Snap Judgments podcast, and today we're talking about the Living Tribunal. As you can see, we have Snap Fan up on the screen. Just a reminder that we are Snap Fan's official podcasting partner. In addition, we are the home for your competitive edge in Marvel Snap. As a smaller content creator, we are able to get you the best decks before everyone on ladder is playing them. You want to hit infinite? This is the place for you. In addition, we have a big season pass giveaway. We're giving away 5 season passes. Please check the description to this video to find out more about that. The first deck is from our friend Safety Blade. Safety Blade is Marvel Snap's own writer and a streamer over on Twitch. All his info will be in the description to this video. Safety has been playing this incredible Mr. Negative deck. This deck ran Bast forever, as negative decks so often do, but it cuts Bast the second Tribunal comes out to run him. Let's talk about playline. So, when you don't have Tribunal, when you don't have Mr. Negative, the main thing that this deck tries to do is play a Darkhawk game plan. You can sometimes steal wins with this deck using your Korg, Darkhawk, Iron Lad, Iron Man combos. That's obviously not the goal. Most of the time, when that's the case, you're going to run. Your main playline is Zabu into negative. Zabu, you just play negative. At that point, with your turn, hopefully 4, you would like to play Crystal. Crystal will then draw you an extra inverted card immediately. That inverted card then has more value than another card would. So far, so good. Great. If you don't see Crystal there on turn 4, you're Iron Ladding. On turn 5, your goal is to play Jane Foster Thor. Jane Foster Thor can get the following cards. It can get Mystique, Darkhawk, Iron Man, Zola, and Null. The idea is to have as many of these zeros as possible to pile on each other on the last turn. You can even pile them all into one lane. The idea of all of these cards having that power means that on 6, you can Living Tribunal to split that power around. Zabu with Zola on top does in fact double when it gets killed. And that's an incredible way to put power all over the board. Iron Man and Mystique in one lane, multiplicatively adding power with Living Tribunal is an incredibly powerful. Even just something as simple as in the Jane Foster lane, playing a Darkhawk that starts at 4 power, so a 4/10 Darkhawk, and then playing Tribunal on top of that with some other cards is going to be quite powerful. There's a lot of extremely strong things you can do with this deck that your opponent is going to be unable to answer, especially with one of the most popular decks in the game right now being lane control. You're fundamentally guaranteed to win one of those lane-controlled lanes, and since they're only really trying to win one of the others, you're going to win a lot of those games. This deck is already proven and successful. The version with Bast was already winning games at a reasonable rate for Mr. Negative deck. If you are getting the Living Tribunal, this is, I believe, the best place for you to start. Retreat liberally. Snap when you have negative. You're going to win a lot. There is one more important note for playing this deck that's not otherwise mentioned yet. If on turn 5 you have, let's say, Iron Man and Jane Foster in hand, you need to be able to read your hand, see what the next options are, assuming Tribunal is in hand. You're going to need to decide what's better for you to play. Are you going to go Jane Foster into Iron Man into whatever other zeros you draw? Or are you going to go Iron Man into the Living Tribunal and whatever zeros you already? That's an important distinction, one that I think is underscored by whether you have an inverted Mystique or Iron Man, right? If your first or second draw is an inverted Mystique or Iron Man, you're much more likely to make that. That's what I would do with the Living Tribunal. I strongly urge you to check it out. You'll note that our overlay right now is not the Living Tribunal, and it usually is. Living Tribunal is, along with Thanos, like the mascot of our show. We decided to change to Thanos because the episode of the podcast releasing later today has the best Thanos player in the world, Lambie, on it. And to honor his Thanos play, we have Thanos, but also breaks my heart. But I don't think I'm buying Living Tribunal. I think this is the best thing you can do with him, but I also think that this thing you can do with him is largely inconsistent. Good luck with the Living Tribunal, people who order it. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I have to eat my words and come back and tell you I bought it next week. And if I do, I bet you it's because of a deck that looks something like. All right, I never leave you with one deck, especially for a new card, which many might not have. Instead, here is a second deck. Senor LOL made this Quake deck. I love this deck. It's super fun. Its play lines are fairly obvious. This is a lane lockdown that has Quake as a way to steal extra cubes. You have so many win conditions with this. You can storm a location and then lock down another with Spider-Man. At that point, your turn 5 Quake is going to really ruin your opponent's day, right? You can play Iron Lad on 4 and get a stolen Professor X or Spider-Man lockdown. If you don't have Professor X, you can Iron Lad into Professor X. Wave on 5 will shut down Kitty deck. Skipping with Nebula, being able to lock off location with Nebula is extremely strong. Being able to get in them with Jeff is strong. You're playing off curve with Sunspot. You can get into any location that's locked by anything but Professor X with Doom. And Leader says if your opponent has an answer, almost no matter what that answer is, it can struggle into Hulk. If your opponent has an answer, you now have that answer. This deck is super sweet. It's super fun. Its win rate is really, really high. I strongly urge you to check it out. Its win rate does rely on surprise and practice, so you might struggle with it at first, but you're going to get some wins with this one. All right. Nice, quick snap take. I hope you check out the Living Tribunal if you are so interested. Tomorrow, Wobolos may have broken the meta again. We're going to talk about that. And we'll also, either tonight or tomorrow, have that Lambie podcast out. Make sure you check that out too. We will see you tomorrow for another snap take. Peace, everybody.